Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Action back at you with another episode of Packed In Action Figure Reviews, where we give you that action that's packed in. And on today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends series Venom, There Be Carnage. And guys, I am super excited to be reviewing this figure with you all. When this figure was first initially announced, I was a little bit on the fence about whether or not I was going to purchase it, as MCU figures are ones that I seldomly do collect. The aesthetic of the figure for me was what really stood out and was what had propelled me to purchase this figure. But without further ado, let's get this guy out of the packaging and let's take a closer look. And ladies and gentlemen, here we have Carnage right out of the packaging, and Hasbro definitely knocked the ball out of the park with this one. They definitely captured the essence and the execution of Carnage in the live action film, man. My first impressions of this guy is, man, he's a lot bigger than, what I was expecting him to be. In the film, he was a pretty big guy, but I wasn't expecting the translation for him to be quite as large in Marvel Legends form. He stands at about 9 inches. Now, one of the first things that really stood out to me about this figure was actually the sculpt work for it, man. It had definitely caught my eye when I was walking in GameStop. I was actually there to purchase a She-Hulk, but when I was looking for her, my eye caught the red and the black, immediately, and my eyes were drawn to it, and I was just like, man, this figure, it definitely caught me off guard. It wasn't a figure that I was initially expecting to like, and I can definitely say that me seeing the figure in person, it converted me. I turned into a Carnage believer, if you will. This guy definitely is, in my honest opinion, it's up there for the Marvel Legends contender of the year as far as MC figures go. That being said, I'm super excited to just really have this figure, man. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the ball rolling. First things first, taking a quick look at the accessories, Hasbro decided that they were going to hook us up and actually give us a good decent amount of accessories that come with this Carnage. The first thing we're going to take a look at is going to be this phenomenal head sculpt that this Carnage decided that it was going to come with, man. And I really like the detail, man. Just the grimace on the face, man. I don't think that this is digital printing. I think this is just standard regular paint, or maybe it is digital printing. I could be wrong. But regardless of whether or not it is either or, I still like the way that this head sculpt came out, man. We can see here that the head sculpt is 2 separate pieces. So we have the jaw, that's one piece, and then we have the regular head, and then maybe the tongue maybe representing a third piece. But I do like the paint that they use, man. We can see here that there is a bit of sheen on the tongue to kind of give it that resemblance of it being slimy. And even with the face being grimaced up, like the wrinklage there, we can see that there's definitely a symbiotic nature to this suit as far as the texturing of the head, man. Then jumping over to some of the weapons that our Carnage comes with, he does come with this scythe piece accessory, if that's just what we want to call it, one of his sharp instruments. And again, man, I really like the paint work on here, man. If we take a closer look, we can see some of some of the vein work, to show that this is a living organism, piece that's a part of his body, man. And I really like the way that it came out, man. The attention to detail. We also have some holes in there. Then he also comes with these tendrils, man, and I really like the way that they came out, man. Now, of course, with these tendrils, the one complaint that I have with them is that they are lacking some paint. If you go through through looking at it thoroughly, we'll see that there is just not that much paint in there, but it doesn't honestly take away from the figure too much. Honestly, I'd probably add my own black wash on there, but each and every one of these tendrils is going to be a little bit different in nature, you know what I'm saying? And I really do like the way that they came out. Here he has the smaller tendrils. So, then last but not least, he also does have this last one that is a single piece. Now, one thing to note with these tendrils is that they are a bit weighty. So essentially what that's going to mean is that when he's standing, it is going to take some time for him to balance. But one of the cool features with these is that they're actually very bendy, so you can get them in nice and different poses. I definitely feel like it adds to the overall stage presence of this figure. But this is just something to just really look at, man. The stage presence of it alone is just out of this world. Now jumping over into the aesthetics of this figure, I can honestly say that Hasbro did a phenomenal job with the sculpt work of this figure, man. The sculpt work on this figure honestly is just, it really blows my mind with how good that they did, you know, the sculpt work for this figure. Now, taking a closer look here at this Carnage, first thing we are going to do is we are going to take a look at the head sculpt, and I definitely do like the way how this head sculpt came out. I do like the fact that, you know, the head sculpt is not flat. We can definitely do see that there is some texturing inside there, like very soft wrinkle work, just to kind of indicate that he is wearing the symbiote suit. Then taking a look at the eyes are painted white, but what I do like with the eyes that they painted white is the fact that the white is not a flat white, so to speak. It kind of has like a shine to it. I don't know if you can actually see that through the camera, but that it is something there to kind of give him like that slimy eye white look, if you guys know what I mean. Then taking a look at the teeth, I do like the fact that, you know, you can see each and every single individual tooth. Then we also do have like that black paint over his eyes, man, and you know, I just really like the way how this whole figure came out. Then taking a look here at the chest piece, we do see that, you know, the texturing of the figure continues. We don't really have any flat pieces. If you look really closely, we can actually see some vein work in there too as well. It's going to be hidden by some of that black wash that we have there. But just all in all, man, the overall, you know, just sculpt work of this figure, man, is phenomenal. You know, even looking here at the abdominals, we do see some of the same thing here, some more of the black wash. Then going down over here into the crotch area, then over here into the upper thighs, we do have some more black wash paint there. You know, coming up here, we do see the shins. Then over here, taking a look at the feet, we do have these nice pointy feet, and I definitely do like the way that they came out. One thing to note that I did notice with mine, and I believe Sharda's Prime also brought attention to the feet too here as well, is that when I first opened up my box, my right foot was on the left foot and my left foot was on the right foot, so I kind of had to heat them up and pop them. But I do like the attention to detail, man. You know, I really do like the way how they came out. And I mean, man, you know, even his little tendrils or tentacles coming from his body, man, you know, I do like the fact that, you know, we do have that. And what I do like about the tendrils is that, you know, although it is soft, it is not going to break on you. It's not hard to where it won't break off. But I do like the tendrils. It's definitely a nice attention to detail. And then the tendrils also do continue on his arm. I do like that they added that little hole inside of his hand just to kind of show you, like, you know, his body is ever constantly forming and shaping into different things. And then we have some more of the tendrils coming into the hand right over here. And taking a look at the shoulders, and I do like the fact that this figure is pinless, man. Very phenomenal figure. Now, where this figure is going to lack a little bit is going to be in the paint. As far as the back of the figure, with the back of the figure, we do have very little paint. You know, obviously the bare paint that you're going to be missing here is going to be on this back side here, but we do have some more paint on the back portion of his neck, as well on, you know, the back of his forearms, as well as the back of his inner thighs. But apart from that, man, I do feel like, you know, the sculpt work on this figure came out so good, man. I really have no complaints, man. This figure is definitely a contender for Marvel Legends of the Year. Glad I picked it up. Now jumping over into the articulation segment, our Carnage here actually has very good articulation. So starting off with the head, our head is on a double ball peg joint. It's on a double ball peg, which is really nice because it gives us a relatively decent range of motion. So he can look up this far up, which I think is really good. I mean, honestly, this guy stands really, really tall, so I wouldn't really see who he would be looking up to. But you also can have him look down about this much, which I also think is a pretty good range of motion. So up, down, and he does have nice pivot because his head is on that double ball peg, so you are going to get really, really nice pivot. Then moving down over here to the shoulders, we can get that nice T-man pose. Despite the fact that he does have his tendrils there, it is not going to hinder it at any point in given time. Then he does also have bicep swivel 360 degrees. He also does have double jointed elbows, which go way beyond 90 degrees, which I think is really, really, really nice. And then for his wrist, they are on hinges. They can go down about this much and they can come up about this much. Then coming down over here into the diaphragm, he does have that diaphragm swivel, so you can get him 360 degrees going side to side. He also does have the upside down ab crunch, so he can get a very deep crunch about this much. And if you add that with the legs, you can actually get it pretty crunch forward pretty good fair amount, and then he also can bend back about this much. So you're gonna get some really nice poses with this guy, man. Honestly, with some of the photos that you guys seen thus far, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Moving right along down to the legs, his hips can extend this far out, which is really good, man. So you can get him nice and stanced out, in some really nice poses. His legs can kick up about this far up. It can go back this far back, so the flexibility is definitely there. He does also have a nice thigh cut, and he also does have double jointed knees, and he does have a hinge that goes down this much. It comes all the way up this much as so, and he also does have nice ankle pivot. So all in all, man, I really like the articulation on this guy, man. A lot of big figures really don't have too much articulation because they're big and bulky, but because of the design choice of this guy, man, it ended up really working with this figure. I would honestly say that out of all of the Marvel Legend big figures that we've gotten so far, especially within the MCU, I would honestly say that this one here is perhaps the most articulated one that we have. Now jumping over into some size comparisons. Over there to the left, we have the Marvel Legends series Venom. I'm part of the Venom movie, and I really like how the way this Carnage just really looks next to this Venom. This Carnage definitely towers over this Venom. And just to give you guys another reference of how huge this Carnage is, over there to the right we do have the Amazing Spider-Man 2, and here we have Sabretooth from the Wolverine 2-pack 50 years anniversary. Here we have him up against Blob. And here we have Juggernaut from the X-Men 2-pack that came with Colossus. Speaking of Colossus, here we have him. And here we have him next to the retro-carded animated series Apocalypse. And here we have the Build-A-Figure Thanos. And here we have him standing here next to the Marvel Select Immortal Hulk. So this Carnage is definitely a very tall figure, man. And here we have the Marvel Select Captain America. And I can honestly say that, even though that this Captain America is a 7-inch scale, because of how big that Carnage is, the scaling actually works. And for some more Marvel Select comparisons, we do have the Marvel Select Psylocke, which to me, in my opinion, is the hands down best Psylocke that we have, despite the fact that she is on a 7-inch scale. Now, I was working on a custom in which I was trying to get her much shorter, however the leg broke. But as you can see here, on the 6-inch, what I was trying to do is get her a little bit smaller. Kind of works a little bit, kind of doesn't, but if you guys want to see a custom on how to do that, I can show you. But despite the fact that it is a 7-inch scale, because of how massive that Carnage is, the size does work. And for some MCU and comic mashups, over there to the right we do have the retro-carded Spider-Man, Black Symbiote Suit Spider-Man, and the new Ben Reilly retro-carded Spider-Man. So, after all is said and done, I think Hasbro definitely delivered in the execution and capturing the essence and energy of this Carnage from the Venom film. They really definitely knocked the ball out of the park, man, and my complaints honestly are very minimal. When we're looking at the pros, some of these include, having a very great sculpt work, very great articulation, man, great accessories on top of that. But where the cons would be is, there is a lack of paint, here and there when it comes down to the accessories and to some portions of, the body, specifically in the back of the figure. And then last but not least, the figure does have some balance or stability issues when it comes down to, having him pose with the tendrils. But apart from that, man, this figure definitely is, one of those exceptional figures that, definitely doesn't come around too often when it comes down to Marvel Legends. If I honestly had to give it a score, I give it a 9.5, man. This figure is definitely, the Marvel Legends contender of the year, in my opinion. It's definitely going to bring out more presence onto your shelf. Despite the fact that it is an MCU figure, I still feel like it, there's some versatility with it if you wanted it, to kind of match in with your comic display. But guys, with that being said, once again, thanks for checking out another episode of Packed In Action Figure Reviews, where we give you that action that's packed in. Please like and subscribe to my channel, as it tremendously helps me in the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would do that, if you took the time to watch out and you guys liked what you have witnessed. Once again, thank you guys. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.